engaged in war. The European countries were always having a war of some kind about territories usually.
So Sophie and Minnie and Dora stayed in Germany with their parents?
With the parents.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all need a glass of iced tea? Would y'all like a glass of iced tea?
And I remember that my mother
Lori, glass of iced tea?
No thanks.
My mother liked, she adored her father. She worshipped her dad. And her mother was often sick.
Oh.
And so that was what she remembered about her mother, was that she was ill. And look at her dress.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Way up here at the neck, that was good. And this would be fancy, lacy around here.
It looks like a separate piece from the rest of the dress. I wonder if it was attached or if this sat on top of the
I
gown.
don't know either. I just imagine it was all one piece.
It's very pretty.
And see, you can see where the sleeves are kind of set in.
Looks like very heavy fabric, very thick. Wonder if it was wool.
And when my mother and her sister and brother came to this country, my mother said their clothes was better than most people had here in this country.
Oh.
And they brought along their Sunday dresses and their everyday two-piece with usually a white blouse if they wanted to look extra nice, and an apron if they wanted to look extra good, and a dark skirt. But they had several pairs of shoes that lasted a couple of years. And she and Aunt Marie and Uncle Carl paid back their trip, the cost of coming in the first year they were over here.
Wow.
And
what did they do? How did they earn their money?
They were, I don't know what Uncle Carl did. He was some trouble to them, but I think it was because he didn't know what to do. And Anna and Marie worked as domestics. They were housekeepers. That's what my mother did.
How old were they at that point? Do you remember?
My mother was 18
Oh.
when she came to this country. Would that make her? When I was trying to think when my father was born, 1900 or something. Would that be anything like what they would be? I think they came to this country in No, my father came to Texas in 1908, 1908. And that's when my mother and her sister and brother came to this country. And they first lived in Iowa and then Nebraska. And they were with an aunt and uncle Schrader that settled at Canyon, and he was quite wealthy at that time. I mean, he had a lot of property. And there was Uncle William, who was the rich uncle. He was single, and he had property in Waterloo, Iowa, was where my mother's family lived before they came to Texas. And it was the Schraders that came to Texas. And they came to Texas for her health because the doctor said she would do better in a drier climate. So they came to Texas. And they owned property west of Canyon. Do you remember anything about that, Tom? You wouldn't, would you?
No, I don't.
Sour cherry.
Anyway,
And I remember that Sunday that we had the tornado. We were at the
You want sour
Schrader's
cherry?
west of Canyon, and we could see the cloud up there. And I remember vividly what it looked like. And the tornado came down. And when we were going home, we had, I think we still, my Papa Miller still drove the Overland. And it had loose curtains, side curtains, you know, to keep you warm and dry if possible, with eyes and glass openings. And I remember how we looked so hard to see if our place was still there. And when we got it about halfway from Canyon to where we lived, east of Canyon, we could tell that
Paige, this is my son and my beautiful daughter-in-law, Lori, and my two most beautiful